0, 0, 0. Four zeros, and it ends in a 2. The last serial number is X3RZ2. 8, and it's going to be 4 zeros and a 4. All 3 of those are there. 2 more Elmo visual presenters. So 3 more Elmo visual presenters. 3. It's going to be 3 serial numbers again. 305 967 6.
They weren't lost. They were just untagged.
They were not lost. They were just untagged.
They saw them during the audit, but they just weren't properly tagged.
Untapped.
Yes, not lost. Thank you, Mr. Lewis.
Was that also
For all of these.
Yeah,
items.
that's for all of
Everything
these.
just was not tagged.
untapped?
Yes. In Tipwell. Untagged in Tipwell were just untagged.
Untagged.
Okay.
They were not in Tidwell because they were untagged.
Okay.
One of them.
But they are all now tagged in Tipwell. Tipwell.
Asset management.
So TIP, WEB. They are now properly tagged and entered into
Okay. Ready for the second.
305 967 8. Where's the last one? 305 9680. This is for a Dell mobile computing cart.
Also untapped.
The serial number is CGQ WRW 2. So all of our assets are property tagged and entered into Tipwell. Well, Mr. Lewis clarified that it was never missing, it just got properly tagged. So they solved them, but because they're not in the system where they run the audit report, it was flagged.
And we just got the 110 in the other day, and I'm sure they haven't uploaded that.
Okay, but they weren't a part of the audit, so we still have
No.
time. Now, the next one is safety and security. So as of May 2nd, which is 6 days ago, we had 19 staff members who had not completed mandatory safe schools training.
You said 16.
19. And admittedly, so I'm down for 3. I'm not the most, which is a good thing. No, none of our, well, I'm not gonna put anybody. I'm gonna look straight this way. There are some past due assignments. So we have until May 31st to get everybody to be caught up on those trainings. But Principal Spicer, I think I'm down to 1. I had 3, but I'm down to 1. So working on that.
Yeah, it's not late yet.
It's not late yet. Oh, Miss Jones is so smart. Miss Jones actually did do the reports. We don't have to wait. This is great work. All right. I'm gonna go back to the kindness grants with the fundraising
Wait,
proposal.
hold on, have not completed the safe schools.
19, yeah, I haven't completed safe school.
Okay.
Jones is so smart. It's good to have a great clerk.
What are we doing with those?
She did the fundraiser, report, so we don't have to wait until next month.
So what am I typing?
The ones you discussed earlier?
Yes, the two. So you're going to type, let me stop there. I move that we approve, I don't know, do I need to put that on record, or can I just go over this about,
Which one are you talking about?
for the tech audit, for the tech assets? I mean, technically, we didn't do anything, but I just wanted to show that we did properly tag all those missing things.
I think they read into the
We'll
minutes,
have to
they
put it in
recorded into
motion,
the
okay.
minutes.
No.
Okay, no motion needed. So we just need to maybe make a heading for local school fundraising accounting report. And so there'll be,
Under the audit?
yes,
Different from the action plan?
well, it's action item number 1, which was the cash receipts. So if you wanna just go back to that, if you made a heading for that, you can just put the,
Under cash?
that's not talking about scholastic
Yeah,
and,
I did.
okay. So I'm gonna do kindness grants first.
Okay.
Kindness Grounds made a profit of $1,730.
Ms. Weston, when you say profit, you mean after they took away their expenses, or that's how much they brought in?
Based on, it's kind of, the Kindness Grants is kind of hard because, they had a range of prices. So I'm not sure, the way the report is, that is the total amount of money collected.
Sans
Total
the
expense
expenses.
minus the total amount collected, so yes, that's what they made, this is the actual profit, $1,730. Last year they made more, but it's okay. Last year they made $3,700.
And that's what I wondered, like, is that plus or minus what they spent to get the credit?
Well, this is minus their expenses.
And last year was too.
Last year was too, but it was some stuff that Ms. Forrest didn't want to sell again this year. So like we did like some movie lunch days that was like $10, and Ms. Forrest was like, absolutely not this year. So that did cut into our profits a little bit. Okay, you got that?
Yes.
I move that we accept the local school fundraising accounting report for Kindness Grants. Yes.
All right, the motion's been made, properly second, any discussion? There being no discussion, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that passes.
The next one is the Scholastic Book Fair. We did not go back and do the fall one because, the audit was from January on. The profit from, the total amount of money collected, the total expenses minus the total amount of money collected. We don't pay anything on the front end, so we ended up writing them a check for $1,167.07.
So we made this profit?
This is how much we pay Scholastic, which is why it's kind of weird. So I'll read some more information. So the book fair sales included $1,167.07 in cash and checks. There was $6,830.21 in credit cards, no POs, and we spent $110.70 in scholastic dollars. So the full book fair brought in $8,107.97. So the check amount, or I guess the profit amount that is noted, is just the cash that we collected, which was $1,167.07.
So did they tell you how to put that in as far as accounting, so it doesn't look like we either made money that we didn't
I
really
think
make?
I think that they just need to see this piece of paper, but attached to it is all the cashier receipts of what we collected and where it went. And then she also attaches, like a copy of like the full receipts for the whole fair, and then the check that we paid Scholastic with. So,
But this is the cash disbursements piece, which is why it's
Yes.
only showing the cash that we had in the registers.
yes,
So should I put book fair cash collected
Yes.
is
$167.07, yes. All right. I move that we accept the accounting report for the Scholastic Book Fair.
Second.
Motion's been made and properly second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that passes.
Okay, and then the only other thing on the audit was that I had to review the audit with you guys today. So we are in compliance in that regard. Okay. Were there any questions about the audit report or any action items? The only outstanding action items now are just the staff completing those trainings. So Mr. Love, our resident principal, is gonna help me follow up with people. Thank you, Mr. Love. Yes.
All right, next on the agenda is, budget approval.
I would like to make that motion. A minute. I move that the LSC approve the Bronzeville Classical School 2025-26 proposed budget as drafted by Principal Spicer with the understanding that this LSC is not an agreement of the diminished funds provided by local, state, and/or federal resources. And we retain the ability to request and/or receive additional funding if it becomes available during the proposed budget year. Anybody wants to read that?
Yeah, can I?
Yes.
I'm just sitting here, okay.
Thank you, Julie.
For having that.
Thank you.
All right, the motion been made and properly second. Any discussion?
Yes, I'd like to just give an update. I don't know if anybody had a chance to speak with our local, LSC rep, but I did take time to speak with Marcus and discuss the matter at hand. A couple things, let me ask first, Mrs. Spicer, did you turn in that document that you needed to turn in? Okay, so he and I just kind of talked about that. I know he said that his boss was here, and I know I was virtual. So, I couldn't hear everything that was being said, but I posed a question to him, what happens if this body did not approve the budget? And basically, he said, nothing really happens other than we lose our voice as an LSC to approve the budget. And if we as the LSC do not approve the budget, what we were approving, again, like the question I was asking online, the approval was for the allocation of funds in the line items that Mrs. Spicer presented to us. That's what our purpose is, that's what that vote was for. So if we do not vote to approve what she has proposed to us, basically, she can spend funds however she wants to. Not saying that she would, but basically, he said, we have removed our voice from the vote if we do not vote to approve it. And I heard the conversation going back and forth. The point I was trying to make is I understand, and that's why I included in the motion, the concern about the diminished funds that are coming from any funding source that we receive. But I just felt like that is a separate campaign, and it does not actually, it's not gonna make a difference. It's still saying, you're gonna get what you're gonna get. But I'm clear that we don't wanna, cut off our noses, spite our face if additional funds became available at some point in time that we still can get those funds. So that was why I included that in the motion. Also, I wanted to reference, and he and I went over, the purpose of the LSC. So back on page 147 of the LSC guide, 2019 guide, it basically states that the LSC has the authority for the allocation of resources provided to the school, but not the amount provided to the school. So that was the point that, at the side of the table that I was discussing, or making my argument from. So, but other than that, he said that form has been turned in because she had to turn it in. And the only difference is, or the only issue is that the LSC has not approved it, so we have no voice. We have not attached an authority to, or authorization to that budget. So until we do that, she's got what she proposed, it will be what she proposed, and if she decided to make changes, she can make changes, unless it comes back before the LSC.
I have a question for you. So, let's say we did approve the budget, and more money were to come in. We do not have the authority, because we voted no, to have say in the allocation of those additional funds? Is that what
No,
you're saying?
that's why I included that little blurb in this motion. So in other words, I'm saying, we're approving what she.
But I'm asking you, if we don't approve it, is that the situation? That if more money were to come in,
No.
we don't have a say in the approval of
No.
the disbursement of those funds?
No.
That's not the situation.
that-
That's not the situation, what you're saying.
Right. If we were to get more funds, so
We will have,
we would have to approve that anyway, whether we approve it now or not.
correct.
Okay.
Right.
So then it doesn't matter whether we've approved the budget or not, is what you're saying?
Well, right, the budget's gonna be the budget, whether we approve it or not. The only thing is it doesn't have our stamp of approval, which means we don't limit any changes she may want to make to it. Because any funding changes, she has to bring before this LSC and we have to approve it, and we have not approved it.
That has nothing to do with what you just asked. So,
Okay.
no, that has no bearing on what you just asked.
Okay.
I'll let you finish it now.
And,
No, but it doesn't stop anything, the budget's gonna be the budget.
okay,
Everything's gonna
So-
be spent, you guys are gonna, all that's gonna happen anyway.
So you're just saying because we initially said no, Ms. Spicer can spend the money how she wants.
Right.
But if we say yes, then we
She's,
need to bring it to her.
when we say
Over the
yes,
1,000.
that's, what she proposed to us, that's solid, we've approved that approval. So what she brought to us, that whole explanation that she gave, we're giving her the same, yes, we don't have any, the only thing that vote was supposed to do, if we did not agree with any of the means by which she was allocating funds, that was what the discussion should have been. So say, for instance, some of the things that she proposed, we can say, nope, take X number of dollars from that particular line item and put it elsewhere. That was what our purpose was. So that we did not approve. So she proposed something, that's what she had to submit to the district, right? So that had to be done by that cutoff date anyway.
So guys, I have asked this question. Ms. Spicer has been carbon copied with his boss's boss, and the boss of that boss. And I have not gotten a response regarding what happens if the LSC does not approve the budget. Recent articles have come out where schools have rejected their budgets and they have gotten more money. I can forward it to you guys if you want to see it. It's been all over the newspaper. What she's saying is not, if you sign off on the budget, you're not gonna get any more money, that's it. If you sign off on the budget, you're not, if you don't, and we're in the process, we're in the process, I shouldn't say, I have sent emails to the people, we're supposed to have a meeting to talk about ways to improve, to get what we need. It hasn't been set yet, and I just wanna, I'm gonna pass everybody a letter that we got from the CEO, when the budget was introduced. I just kinda wanna go over it just to show you guys. If we approve the budget, we give up opportunity. They're gonna say, you're satisfied with the budget, that's what you get. That's just what happens. Now, she may be true as far as there may be no consequences, she'll go on and business as usual, but if we approve it, we give up that opportunity. And I just wanna start this by saying that I wholeheartedly think Ms. Spicer's doing everything she can. By not approving the budget, I'm not saying she's done anything wrong. I've been in the meetings, I've seen her eyes well up because of the decisions she's had to make. So I by no means feel like Ms. Spicer is doing anything wrong. She's doing the best she can under the circumstances. But the reason I want you guys to look at this, I'm gonna go over it. Did you get a copy, Joyce?
Yes.
This is the email that we got from the CEO when the budget was introduced. And I tried to blow it up so you could see it. But if you go to page 4, I'll just start with where they're talking about learning acceleration, right? And these are all the things that the budget are supposed to provide. And members of the audience, I have a couple of copies if you all need one as well. And notice how they're talking about acceleration, ensuring a high-quality, culturally responsive curriculum, more professional development offerings for teachers, intervention teachers, getting students back on track. You all saw the presentation. We are not going to have that. We are losing potentially interventionists. We are not going to have the support that we need for students that need the support. The budget simply doesn't support that. Extended learning time. I'm on page 5. If you look at page 5, the budget is cutting into these things. If you look at emotional and behavioral support, we're getting cut a counselor. We may lose diverse learning. So everything that this budget is supposed to provide, it's simply not doing that. Professional development for teachers, we may.
Okay, I'll pause you for just 1 second, Mr. Mitchell. So, on page 4, under learning acceleration, we did not get allocated any intervention teachers. On page 5,
Wait, I have a clarifying question. Is that intervention teachers based on like a percentage of students that are off term for the school, or how is that determined?
I don't know how it's determined because when I did the budget presentation and I talked about like the opportunity index and like Title I money, like I had that information as a part of my handout. I don't have that part because we didn't get that. So I assumed the table that would have been included in, it would have had the explanation of how we were eligible for it. But I'm sure it may be in alignment with why we did not get a coach either. We had to be a Title I school in order to get a coach.
And to that end, about intervention, just this week, they sent emails out to parents saying, hey, your kid qualified for acceleration, the principal's gonna give you information on this wonderful program, but we don't have it. They're sending out and they're communicating this thing to parents. Parents are going to expect that this is what's happening, and it's not happening. Emotional and behavioral, we talked about this. The counselors, we're losing a counselor. The state and the federal standard is 1 per 250 kids. We're gonna have 460 plus kids next year with 1 counselor. And then if you look at this same email, they talk about coming out of COVID and the social and emotional support they're gonna provide. Well, why are you just giving us 1 counselor? When the state and federal standard says we need 2 under these circumstances. And if you go on and you look at, they're talking about, high quality experiences and all the things they're gonna provide. And this went out to every single parent. So every single parent expects that this is in fact the case, but it's not. And if you start at page 7, at the bottom they talk about keep cuts away from the classroom, right? So that means that there shouldn't be cut in classroom. And look at the area that I have the asterisk. It says, while the individual school's funding may vary, the total amount, we will not balance the budget on the backs of our students and schools. CPS plans to absorb the deficit by reducing expenditures and finding efficiencies within central office functions, contraction, operations, and other areas. That is the opposite of what's happening. They're balancing the budget on the backs of our schools, specifically selective enrollment schools. But yet they communicate, and you see it in the media, that they're not cutting anything, everything is gonna be great. That's why parents are wondering what's going on. They're saying they're giving you all this stuff, so the reality is they're saying one thing and they're doing another thing, and they're not fulfilling what they're saying they're gonna do. They're cutting our budgets, they're cutting all the things that we need in our school that make us special. And we should not approve a budget that does not give us those things. Once we approve the budget, we give it up. We give up the right. They're gonna say, you approved it, you okay with it, so there you go. I think we should continue to fight and continue to send a message that we're not gonna tolerate you tearing our school down and making it one of the schools that you're trying to improve. We are a selective enrollment school. We are Bronzeville Class School, number 6 school in the city. If you cut our funds, you're gonna make us just like everybody else, because we're not gonna have the things that make us Bronzeville Class School. And we shouldn't approve the budget.
The one thing I'll add, about acceleration and just the situation that schools are in, and not just our own, because people will apply for acceleration at other schools. But the email that went out to families who paid to have their children tested says the next step is for the school team and the parent and guardian, the student is welcome to join as well, to meet in order to discuss whether or not acceleration will be provided for next school year. The principal and their team will have the final say on whether or not the child will be accelerated. It's important to note that the school will take the student's academic performance and socioeconomic skills in equal consideration when making their final determination or decision about the student's acceleration. After this discussion, the principal should communicate a final acceleration decision via email to both families and the Office of Access and Enrollment by May 31st. So that's the challenge. So knowing that I don't have interventionists this next year, Mr. Marty and Mr. Spears has spent I don't know how many pro bono hours on the schedule. I literally think there are probably 15 tabs in the Google sheet where we've just been ideating on how we can try to maximize the staff that we have, because I don't want to tell families no for acceleration. Right now, the students who receive acceleration benefit from not only accelerated curriculum, but a very small class size. So I think it's ideal if we are gonna be accelerated students, you know, at least 2 grade levels ahead, being in a classroom of 27, 28, other students. It's just not ideal, for acceleration. But that may be the only option for me moving forward. So I hear Mr. Mitchell, I hear Ms. Brown. I'm just giving more information and context to the decision that we have to make.
And then just on top of that, what Ms. Spicer
Can we
said-
just, because we have some hands, so, and
I'm
we know
sorry.
your position, Mr. Mitchell, so let's get some new voices, let's give other people a chance to speak.
I just had a couple of questions. First, Ms. Joyce, I appreciate what you said in this motion. I wanted to know though, is this motion does it just protect the integrity of how we're wording our motion as it relates to the LSC vote, or does it actually protect us being able to go back and ask for additional funds should it become available? So like for instance, the second part of your sentence, we retain, I believe, the request and or receive. Once we accept it, do we actually retain the ability to still kind of fight it, or is that just part of this motion?
No, and that's why I put it in the motion, so that it is understood. We're accepting what she has proposed for us, so that we can keep our business moving, although it's gonna happen anyway. But, taking us back again, I'm only going back to what the Bible of the LSC basically says, our roles and responsibilities. Again, the LSC has authority for the allocation of resources provided to the school, but not the amount provided to the school. So I understand, I'm all for that campaign, I'm all for it, I totally believe it, but I'm just saying, for the purpose of getting this budget approved from Mrs. Spicer, the only thing we're doing is approving the budget with the funds that she has received, allocating it to the sources by which she has written. That's all this motion is for, and that is the purpose of the LSC.
Can I just quickly clarify what I think I'm hearing, what you're saying, and also what you're saying? Any opportunity for additional resources and funding that are coming in are separate from this motion.
Absolutely.
They don't have any
She
bearing.
can't just she doesn't have the authority to say, I retain this and I'm gonna, she has no legal authority
That's
whatsoever
kind of what
to
I'm
make
asking,
that
like,
determination.
does
Right.
the
But
language in
there-
the motion
Okay.
actually
Yeah.
step outside into the real world,
Yeah.
or is it just simply what we're putting in our motion, I guess? And I understand you're saying it's like not related.
Yes,
But she
And
has
yes,
no authority. You
that
can't
is-
just
that is
say,
correct.
Like, I'm
We-
gonna do this. You can't just, you can't put that in a motion. You have no.
Sure, I can, just like you made the
No, but
motion.
there's no
not to-
legal authority.
okay, all right, okay,
But no,
so,
let me just finish this. I consulted with our rep. His boss was here last week, and I think she was chiming the same thing. Now, we can have personal feelings about the woulda, coulda, shoulda. We don't know that. We don't want that. I understand. I'm just saying, that's a separate campaign to fight for the additional funds. The reason I put that in there is because I knew Steve's rebuttal was gonna be, if we accept this, we can't get any more money. So the reason I word it that way is, we're not cutting ourselves off from receiving additional funds if indeed they become available.
But you can't.
We don't
okay,
say that.
can we let, okay, just to follow up, and then we're gonna let Mr. Spears talk, and then also, we're probably gonna have to cap this, cause this is gonna,
This is quick.
yes.
I just wanted to know, how much longer do we have before the LSC loses its voice over the budget? So like, for instance, if we did not approve it today, and there were traction between now and our next meeting in June, would not approving it today mean that it's instantly lost in terms of this budget, or is there a cutoff for when we would have to approve it? So could we
She's
make
already
it-
Can I
turned
answer-
in the documentation. She had to turn in the documentation, what, last week before last?
On the third.
But just to your point that as the LSC, we would lose our voice around the budget, my question is, at what point do we lose our voice around the budget?
We've lost it because we didn't vote. So
That's not
until,
true. She just saying something.
Wait, okay, let's stop. Mr. Spears, you go ahead and ask your question, and then, so technically, I'm trying not to be like the super, like, stringent parliamentarian.
But she's making.
Okay,
false statements.
wait, so, actually, everybody is supposed to be addressing the motion and not each other. So let's start there, let's stop addressing the person that's making comments, really, you're only supposed to address the chair, actually, and speak directly to the motion. So let's try to depersonalize what each person is saying and just address the issue at hand. Also, let's be respectful of everybody's voice. People are raising hands, trying to get in, and if you've made your point, or if you, I get, trust me, I get it. If your position has been made and you're not adding a new idea, a new thought to the position that you've made, we can pretty much take the temperature of the room. We understand where people stand. That's not what's up for debate right now. So let's step back from that. If you have a comment where you are speaking directly to, you have a question, you're trying to seek clarification, that's what the discussion is, okay? So if we're speaking to that, let's move forward with that, and if not, we're going to have to cap the amount of time that we're spending on this.
I did have
Is that fair?
I'm not sure that I received an answer. I was
Okay.
wondering if there was an answer to the question I posed.
Okay,
I
I'm
heard two
sorry.
different-
So I'm gonna respond, to Yandi. She's asking, is there a point where we actually lose our voice? I think what I heard Ms. Brown saying, that because we didn't approve the budget, we've actually already lost that voice. What I am saying, in terms of my research and the direct questions that Mr. Mitchell has been asking, even before our special call meeting, and even after our special call meeting, is exactly that question. And it's already happened. We did not approve the budget. It was balanced in our platform, which is called EPM. So that closed on May 3rd. Because we weren't in the red or imbalanced, I don't know what happens to schools that if it closes and it's imbalanced. But we were balanced or green according to the allocations that were presented. So our school did not get flagged for that. So I don't know what would have happened if it was not flagged, or if it was flagged. Secondly, for compliance, I had to turn in a form that said what the vote count was for the budget, and if we approved, the new revisions to the CIWP. That is what was turned in. So on paper, BCS is in compliance. However, it is unclear what happens if an LSC does not approve a budget?
That's the answer to your question, Yandi.
But I have a further explanation to add on to that. Just that I'm trying to answer the question as well.
Okay.
Point of information.
Yes.
Thank you, parliamentarian. Just to remind everybody, the allocation of the money to the school is from CPS. And what we were voting on was how Principal Spicer allocated the funds that she had available. That's it. So, and I've asked everybody that I know about all of this in the same way, and it's like, nothing happens. The budget is the budget, the allocation is the allocation, and so the position, so in seeking an answer, where people don't have an answer, they don't have an answer because there isn't one. The money is the money, and the allocation is the allocation. And we still do also, in my mind, based on all of the LSC information and how I understand the LSCs run over these years is, and just what we did earlier in this meeting, we approve and vote transfers of funds within the allocation at every meeting. We have access to those books, those reports at any time we want. And in talking about the motion from last week and from this week, that part of, if I recall correctly, part of C's motion last week was to say, part of it was, this is not a reflection on Principal Spicer. Because part of what happens at dysfunctional LSCs is that people argue over the allocation of funds as a reaction of being dysfunctional and being against what the principal is allocating funds for. So I don't think anybody's going to get a real answer because the amount of money you're allocated is the amount of money you're allocated. And now all of the other kind of minutia of trying to figure out the politics of it, because that's what we're really discussing here, the politics of it. It's amorphous in Chicago, and we know what it is. But I just wanted to clarify that point, right? The money is the money, the allocation is the allocation, and I know people who are principals who have resided over schools that had a dysfunctional LSC that never had quorum, and all they do is send that report in and say no quorum, no vote, and that's the end of it. Because that's 100 schools in Chicago public schools that have a dysfunctional LSC and don't have quorum at certain meetings. So that's also one of the things. And guess what? They still have budgets. They still have allocation. There's still so many multiple steps in the process of getting things done that if Principal Spicer wanted to write a check to pay our car note, she still had to, multiple people are in place to keep her from doing that in order to keep from misallocating funds in some way, shape, or form.
Mr. Spears, do you still have a question or a comment or a
Yeah,
concern?
So it seems to me that the approval of the budget is a moot point. It doesn't matter whether we approve it today or not, because as Dwayne said, it's already been allocated, it's already been approved, and from what I heard the last time we took the vote had nothing to do with Principal Spicer's allocation of the money. We were all okay with the allocation of the money that was given. We were taking a political stance to say that we are not okay with the amount of money that was provided. And if we're okay with the way that Principal Spicer has allocated the budget, then I would say that we should stand on what we said before and use it as a political thing. Because if nothing's going to happen, and the only thing that could happen is us getting more money, then that's my view. Because it doesn't seem like there's a benefit to us to vote yes on the budget if it's already been approved and we already agree informally that the allocation that Principal Spicer brought to us is fine. So it seems redundant and it seems counterproductive to vote yes when it's already done. If we stay with no, it is a political statement to say that we don't like the amount that we've received. But we still approve what Spicer has done because it's already done. It doesn't matter.
Do you want me to answer?
Okay, Ms.
No, I'm just
No,
addressing
yep,
the
I don't
motion
think,
and I'm
yep,
just speaking
and I think, is this a question or a statement, or?
It's more of a clarifying question.
Okay.
To what we were, so
Okay.
were we supposed to vote on that basically the $97,000 that we had? Okay. That's what we were supposed to be approving.
Hold on one second, I wanna,
Correct?
Yes, essentially, it ended up being 97,000 left, because remember, I talked about, our evening security guard, and then the 2 miscellaneous positions that I added. So it was those 3 positions as well as the 97,000. So I didn't put a dollar amount with that,
Okay.
yeah. But it was 3 positions and then the $97,000.
you have a clarifying question.
When you mentioned the other schools where they like don't have a quorum and so they don't actually approve the budget, are you aware at all that those schools have in fact lost their LSC votes or voices in terms of approving the budget, like allocations of funds?
No, I'm not aware of any impact.
I can speak to that too, because my last school was a non-functioning LSC, and our principal still had to approve the budget. Everybody still got paid, but when the principal brought the budget reports, they still had to bring the budget reports and get approved for those budget transfers and things like that when we had a quorum.
Absolutely, and I'm not saying that, the only thing.
Are there, okay, I'm sorry, just quickly, one, are there any more clarifying questions or adding anything new? We're not trying to drive home a point. We know where everybody stands. So we don't have to spend time on that. I don't think, we're not trying to convince anybody of changing their position. If you have a clarifying question, I would say ask it. Otherwise, I would hope that we're all okay with ending discussion and moving to the vote.
I just want to finish, just to make sure, because, just want to clarify what you were saying, Mr. Spears. We did not approve, you kept saying it was approved. We may mentally approve it, but we did not formally approve it, that's all. That's all. So we could, well, no,
Yep.
you were saying it was approved, so I'm good with that, but
Yep.
we're not saying, again, like I said, I'm not happy with the amount that came in, but that was not what the vote was for. I just want to be clear, what the vote was for.
I
As
think-
Wayne has said,
Yes.
he's right, nothing's gonna happen, life's gonna go on. We could even bring it up at the next meeting or in the fall. if
Yep.
it comes up again. That's not a problem.
Okay.
I just wanted to bring it up again because I want to make sure people understood what that vote was actually for. It has nothing to do with the amount of money that's coming into the school, it's how she plans on spending
Yes.
that money.
Yes, I think you've made that point, Ms. Brown. Yes, I think you've made that point. Are we okay with ending the discussion and moving this to a vote?
I move we close discussion.
Second.
All right, motion been made, properly second. Any discussion regarding closing the discussion?
That's the motion, yeah.
They won't put it in there.
Well, no, you can, it's basically, it's called like calling for the question, essentially. So calling for the question is to end discussion. So we do have to vote on that first, that motion, and then we go back to the original motion.
So all those in favor of ending discussion, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that motion passes. Now I'm gonna call, all those in favor of Joyce's motion for, all those in favor of Joyce's motion to approve the BCS 25-26 budget, that we approve the Blindsville Classical 25-26 proposed budget as drafted by Principal Spicer, with the understanding that this LSC is not in agreement of the diminished funds provided by local, state, and federal sources, and we retain the ability to request or receive additional funding if it becomes available during the proposed budget year. All those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. All those opposed, please raise your hand. All those who abstain, raise your hand. That motion fails. All right, next we'll move on. We'll move on to budget transfers. Yeah, you, budget transfers?
I just want to update, because the LNC gave me pre-approval last meeting, so I wanted to share that we did move, 14,000. Do you want all, I did two, four, six, you want all 6 of them? Yes. copy and paste and send it to you. But we did do 5 budget transfers. We took money from the student transportation line, attendance line, and non-professional services line to transfer all of it to a math line to do our math adoption. So half of our math adoption for grades 5 through 8, have been purchased. And so the total amount that was transferred was $14,041.65. The highest budget transfer was $5,000, which was at the limit provided by the LSC.
Now, Ms. Spicer, are we doing, now we're starting the new process of doing it. We're gonna sign it and she's putting it in the minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So this next, I'm sorry. We're on budget.
I'm gonna email it to you,
Did they tell you if they wanted it done? I mean, obviously we'll put motion and approve. Do they want specific, like vote totals or anything, or?
I'm gonna move just for the entire amount, but Ms. Lewis is gonna put each individual line in the minutes. But I'll do the official motion for the total amount, so we don't have to go through each individual line. But I did tell you the 3 lines that we pulled from: student transportation, attendance, and non-professional services to the math line.
And just to get you guys caught up who are here, essentially, an audit was done, and they gave Ms. Spicer some instructions on how the budget transfers and things we were doing, like, essentially to be more specific in the minutes, and to make sure we sign and have all the documentation for the transfers. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
So that's it.
And so I'm sending those individual lines to Ms. Lewis right now, so that she can, annotate it in her, minutes. But the total was $14,041.65. I move that the LSC, reapproves the allocation, or the, budget transfer of $14,041.65 for math curriculum for grades 5 through 8.
All right, the motion been made and properly second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, that passes. Ms. Spicer, is it possible to get a sample of how they want her to record this in the minutes, just so we make sure we're accurate?
No, they don't give me that.
Well,
And I'm advertising if someone would like this seat.
I'm done. I'm done.
like, no,
Take this.
take it.
Ms. Lewis, you have been killing it.
I am advertising
Yeah, I can
that
ask.
somebody
we
can
send
sit
her,
here.
just our minutes the way she has it,
I mean-
at least find out if that's okay, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes, we'll send this, Ms. Lewis, we just remind me that we'll send our minutes, but we have to send our minutes this month anyway with the, my response, cause I have to upload all of this,
Okay.
into the system anyway, and I have to send the LSC minutes where we discussed all of this, so we'll get feedback at that time, I'm assuming. But those are all the budget transfers that were completed, at this time.
All right, you wanna move on to cash disbursements?
Yes, cash disbursements for this month, for May. Medieval Times was $2,755.92. 2 cents. That is for the 4th grade PBIS field trip.
All the kids were asking, like, how did they get to go to, I was like, I don't know.
Ms. Keeper's family.
She's been wanting to go.
Catering for our, speech arts contest judges who were here all day. So we did breakfast and lunch, from Panera Bread. That was $207.21. bus for medieval times is $577.50. The middle school went on a STEM field trip to the skating rink. That was $1,530.
That's creative.
Physics.
STEM field trip.
Absolutely.
A lot of them learned about gravity.
Look
The
at look at
buses,
look at
to the skating
teacher
field trip were
humor.
$660.
Wait, what was the 1530?
That's how much it costs to go to the skating rink, and that probably
the
includes lunches,
The entry fee,
admissions and lunch,
and then the bus was 600.
and 60. Oh, I don't know who this Amy's bus, what's this bus for? I have to figure out, it's another field trip, but, oh, how is it on here twice? Did it run 2 checks? I gotta check on Ms. Jones, I think Ms. Jones duplicated a check, so we're gonna have a voided check, because we paid medieval times already, but she just did another check for them today. Mr. Lewis, can you, make a note to remind me to let Ms. Jones know that we paid medieval times twice? She probably has it prepared for Ms. Keepers to take with her, but they wanted payment, to confirm. And we, Ms. Sudat drove it out there. So, that's a duplicate. So, never mind that.
So we already paid them twice?
No, we didn't already pay them twice. I just signed a check today, because
Oh.
it's today's date. So I'm like, oh, we already paid them. I just have to remind her that we took payment out there already and have the receipt. So we're good. That concludes my report around cash disbursements. We have a fundraising proposal.
Yes, the Friends of Bronzeville would like to do, a fundraising, we're selling spirit gear, like polos with, Bronzeville Classical on them for the spring and summer, as well as some dry fit shirts and what we have left of the sweatshirts. We like to do that, actually this Thursday and Friday permitted, so I move that the Friends of Bronzeville be allowed to have a spirit gear fundraiser, this Thursday and or Friday.
Second.
The motion has been made and properly second. Any discussion?
I'm about to go be a court clerk.
No, Ms. Lewis, you are not. No, you are not, Ms. Lewis.
Hey, I got a job for
Oh,
you
thank
to
you,
choose
sir.
to do that.
Nah.
No, thank you, Mr. Mitchell.
So,
All right, so all
for
those,
this Thursday and Friday?
yeah,
Okay.
all those in favor, please raise your hand.
6, 7.
Yanni went out for a call,
Right.
and I'm
but
gonna
there's
abstain.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So,
No, he's not voting.
so 8.
Eight
Any,
yes.
any noes,
And 2,
any abstentions?
Who didn't vote?
Steve.
I'm an abstention, but Yanni's not here. She went out to take a call.
And you said you're abstaining because you're on the committee?
Yes.
Who, second motion?
All right, so that passes. Any more fundraising proposals?
No.
All right, next we move on to diverse learners.
Our caseload increased from 15 to 16. As of right now, our teaching allocation is going to be reduced from 4 to 2, based on the, reports and the minutes pulled, for budget. There is another, data pool for May, and after May, I may get a reallocation of a teacher or two. Our case manager is currently working on, DO teacher schedules for next school year. So we're in the appeals process to get at least one allocation restored. For our SEPA staff, we are, we have 4 special education classroom assistants is what SEPA stands for. And based on new students that have been added to our caseload, our network approved 2 additional SECAs, but we have not received, approval from the district or those allocations as of yet. So So we are looking to increase our SECA staffing from 4 to 6. Mhm.
So they're willing to increase our SECA staffing, but not give us enough diverse learning teachers? Is that correct?
The argument is that we have enough diverse learning teachers for the minutes that we have allocated for our students.
So we don't have enough SECA support for those same minutes?
So some new students who have come on our caseload, one student who has an IEP, and then there are some new students with 504s. And so some of the students with 504s also have SECA support, and our new 504s, so that is what, how our caseload for SECA is increasing. Because one of the students who came on the IEP, has a dedicated, so that's automatically in the position. And then additional minutes with the 504s. Any questions?
Did you get the staffing in there too? Or was
Yeah,
that
I
just-
talked about the staff.
Okay, all right, so CIWP.
Before we go to the CIWP, I do want to pop back over to my regular report. I forgot all about it. Our year-to-date attendance is 95.94% above the district, 95%. 84% of our students are on track, with another 8%, almost, so that's 92% of our students on track. Medical compliance is up. I'm sorry that Dr. Beeren isn't here. Nurse David told me he finally got it to 98.1. He's extremely proud about that. So please note that. 180 of our 256 students have a 3.5 or higher. And then we received 96% of our family income information forms this year. And that is the form that determines if we get additional state funds for being a Title I school where students receive free or reduced lunch. Even though they all receive free or reduced lunch, but their actual status is what gets us additional dollars.
Can I ask a question about the GPA? Does that include, does that average in, music, math? No, okay.
GPA is only calculated from reading, math, science, and social studies. Yes. We're up to date and have completed all of our emergency management drills with the support of our resident principal. He reviewed some additional safety information as we go into the spring. So we do plan on doing a drill as if there is an unsafe incident happening outside. How do you come back in? Right now, we do have several classes that are doing ABC countdown, so they're taking students out without security outside of like the recess block. So we just wanna make sure that if something unsafe in the community happens, we all know how to get back into the building and that we have a strong system in place. Our May and June dates are available in the agenda or in our folder, so I won't go through that. Mr. Mitchell always goes through our mission and vision, CIWP priorities we'll get to. For organizational leadership, led the CIWP committee in development of the SY25 CIWP implementation plan, aligns with the PL and gifted continuums and site conditions, collaborated with the attendance team to set ambitious goals for our chronically tardy students, collaborated with the PPLC to develop recommendations for the SY25 master calendar, math curriculum adoption, and flex professional development days. Budget transfers are in progress to prioritize in-the-year purchasing and spend down. Collective development of team agendas and managing outcomes with the lead teacher teams, and engaged in the end of the year rigor walk and provided school-wide practice data trends within our school team. Domain 2, which is our instructional core, collaboration with the master schedule committee to prioritize instructional blocks for support and acceleration. Joint development of programmatic foci with the gifted coordinator and personalized learning coordinator. Collaborative partnership budding with the virtual academy to discuss offering advanced courses virtually. Supported the development of learning cycles and professional development to increase or introduce success criteria to teacher teams and develop learning cycles aligned to practice data from our rigor walks. We are coordinating our end of the year assessments with our Ready, Reach Performance Task and our final interim. And then we co-plan our final release days for the humanities and STEM teams. Just as a reminder, the humanities team is gonna visit SHOOT, which is on the far south side. They are implementing the same ELA curriculum, so they're gonna go on a school visit. And then our STEM team is gonna go to Morton School of Excellence that has a new, regional gifted center. Domain 3 for climate and culture, we hosted a special call meeting to discuss the budget with 20+ attendees and offer virtual viewing. Family newsletters for May have been approved and distributed. Informational emails and form templates shared with families to advocate to state senators to support BCS. BCS met its fundraising goal for our MS Warriors and packed 100 bags to be donated to the University of Chicago Hospital MS unit. Our kindergartens are gearing up for their 10-day countdown. Our first grade, third grade, and middle school students are excitedly participating in their ABC countdown. Staff appreciation is well underway. Staff have received small tokens each day. The first day was a messenger bag. Second day was a blanket. Today they got a sling bag, and they have 2 more surprises on the way. AP Bellamy coordinated Morning Sunshine with our families on Monday. Our partners at the Critical Thinking Child sponsored lunch for our staff on Tuesday. And today, the Ladies of Virtue sponsored lunch for the staff. It's pizza from Giordano. And then AP Bellamy continues to meet weekly with our facilities team. We do have one custodian who is out on leave, but we have a substitute. We saw her this evening. And then we consistently hold our lead teacher weekly meetings. Lastly, under talent, our personalized learning team presented in their final PD meeting of the year. Great job on showing how they've grown. So Ms. Sudak and Ms. Bradford presented. The leadership team is also in the finalizing phase of all REACH and ESP evaluations. Thank goodness I have biennial staff, so I'll knock them out next year. For professional culture and retention, individual discussions about potential teaching assignments for SY25 have begun. So people who are moving around and their roles are changing, I'm starting to have those conversations now. For distributed leadership, and then we are, I guess it's me. I've advanced to the next round for the CONS Distinguished Principals Program. Oh! So they are going to be doing a school visit on May 21st. The parent panel is going to be at 9:30, parent and community and students, so we'll invite students too. It'll be at 9:30 on May 21st. I always ask you guys to come, so you are more than welcome to come. It's not gonna be virtual, you do have to physically be here. I did put a sign up on Parents Square, I did share it out on GroupMe. I was trying to get a diverse group of parents, parents that I may not talk to all the time, but would advocate for this process. So if you know anybody who is having a great experience or believes in what we're doing, encourage them to sign up. There are 2 spots for primary, 2 for intermediate, and 2 for upper, and then anyone from the LSC is welcome to participate. Staff, there'll be a staff panel, but this specifically is for community, parents, and students. We engaged the PPOC for school-wide recommendations, and then today I participated in the 2nd session of the Black Principals Network. Our focus today was on the power of distributed leadership, all hands on deck. So we opened our session with Dr. Feeney Skanes. I forgot the title of her section, but we started with her. Then we moved on to choosing our community and practice, our problem practice, and then we had an opportunity to collaborate in our groups. The group that I'm on is on measuring how to measure teacher effectiveness, and we want to get outside of just the evaluation tool that we use that we're mandated to do, but really making our observations and feedback cycles shorter and more meaningful. So that's the group that I'm in. And that concludes my official report. Yes, ma'am.
Nurse Day. It's Nurses Week also.
We celebrated him. We did celebrate him. Students made cards for him, and he was here to pack a bag for field trips. So he did get his love notes from the children, but we also include him in staff appreciation. So while he was here, he got his 3 days worth of stuff, and I told him to make sure he comes back later this week. But yes, we did acknowledge Nurse Day, and I told all the teachers that it was Nurses Week too, and specifically today was Nurses Day. So I was happy I actually got a chance to see him. We got a really good talk too.
Which custodian is this? Everything okay? Did she
Miss Maria.
support?
Miss Maria, I don't know. I know that in the past, her husband has had some health issues, so she's just kind of been in and out, so I don't really know.
I don't think we can really
Yeah.
talk about it.
I mean, I don't know why she is, all I know is that she's
Can you talk
already,
about what? I'm just asking if she needs some kind of support or if we can help her out.
there have been no requests as of yet, but I don't know the exact reason. But I can inquire and see if there's anything needed, and I'll definitely bring this back to the body.
Okay. Mr. Spears,
Okay.
PLC?
Yeah. Anytime ready.
And I'm not doing a separate CIWP presentation because at our last meeting, we went over, the new implementation plan, so there hasn't been any changes since last week.
So we met this morning, the PPLC, and there were a couple of agenda items. We talked about the math curriculum adoption. So we voted and approved the recommendation from the math team to approve Envisions and Savas curriculum for 5th through 8th grade. And they know a lot more than I do about it. So I can't really speak to a whole lot about it, but the PPLC felt like it was the best course of action for our upper grades to use Envision and Savas for things like algebra and things like that as we move into 8th grade. And then for K through 4, they're going to adopt a Eureka Squared, which is similar to what we're already doing. It's like I guess it's an updated version of Eureka. So we'll be continuing to use that. We talked about our Flex PD days and how we use those. So as members of the CTU, we are offered the ability to flex certain professional development days throughout the year. And Principal Spicer brought up the idea that we, instead of using our flex days after school so many days during the year, that we use them to support some of our academic days that we have after school. So the proposal is going to be that teachers can sign up to support STEM night, literacy night, our Black History Month celebration, International Fest, and the Eagle Arts Fest at the end of the year. So we kind of came up with some dates for those and some procedures for teachers to sign up for those to account for the number of hours that we would flex from our last day of school in the 24-25 school year. So that vote will happen on Friday. And so teachers have been made aware of the ask for the vote. It'll be a yes or no vote. If they vote yes, then we'll move forward with that vote. If they vote no, then we will not flex any of our days, and we'll just attend the calendar as is. We talked briefly about the first 20 days of school, trying to be intentional about how we start the school year, and talking about our core values and doing really targeted social emotional learning in those first 20 days to set us up for the rest of the year. And so the team discussed, and we decided that that should be 60 minutes dedicated in the schedule for the first 20 days. So every class will get dedicated 60 minutes of social emotional learning, core value lessons, and things like that for the first 20 days. And then those will move to designated times, shorter times throughout the day for the rest of the year as we move forward.
Is that 60 minutes per day or per week?
Per day for the first 20 days. So every day we'll have 60 minutes of time for SEL and core values. And for our social skills. So those of you who watch the morning news, we have a social skill that we talk about each week. Things like accepting feedback and consequences, et cetera, et cetera. So those are some of the other things that we're going to plan on focusing on, and the PPLC is going to help develop those lessons for teachers so that teachers aren't having to, one, come up with something on their own, and we have 15 different versions of SEL and core value lessons. So to help streamline that and to take that burden off of the teachers a little bit.
So who's developing that? Are you guys
That'll be through the PPLC.
Okay.
The first 20 days?
Yeah.
That's culture and climate and behavior health team.
Oh, yeah.
We're not following second step?
We are,
Yes,
but
but like our core values.
like when are we gonna do those lessons? When are we gonna have our expectation assembly? So all of that is gonna be in the first 20 days, we're building out.
And that is it for the PPLC piece.
moving on to new business, we need to set the date for our, June meeting?
It's set, but I just want us to talk about it.
What day is it?
It's
The
on June
12th.
12th.
Now, let's do it the week before while we're still in school. Yeah, we're gonna have to come back
The teachers?
on that Wednesday?
Yeah, that's the graduation.
What
No,
time
we
is it?
can't
We
do
don't have
that.
to do it on a Wednesday. But I mean, first, well, I brought it up because, A, that's my son's birthday. So I don't wanna have LSE meeting on the evening of my child's birthday. So I would like to move it. What day we move it to, I'm completely open. The week of June 3rd is the last week of school. Ms. Lewis is already sharing that she would not like to do it on the Kinderstart graduation day, which makes a lot of sense.
I can take one for the team.
No,
That's in the.
That's a lot
morning, though.
going
No,
on.
we had a whole day.
and we're not gonna do the last day of school. So, I'm thinking that we can do it on, either Monday, June 3rd, or Tuesday, June 4th. Tuesday?
Monday's better for me, but I can miss the last one.
Well, Monday, I have
almost
a
church.
scheduled appointment on that Monday, but I can move it.
Monday, June 3rd.
Tuesday works
They're
better
talking about
for me.
Tuesday.
Monday the 3rd or Tuesday the 4th.
Okay.
Works better, but can you make it on Tuesday? I can't do Tuesday. Okay, so maybe the day that has the most votes, I'm thinking. would be fine.
So the options are 3 and 4.
Yes.
Monday and
So
Tuesday.
if you prefer, or it's better for your schedule, Monday, June 3rd at 5:30, please raise your hand. Monday, June 3rd at 5:30.
Monday's fine.
I could probably do either, If
Okay,
we can get out of here before 7.
well, in June, I don't think that we will have that much to handle.
You
'Cause
never know.
You never know. We could get some more money, we have to allocate.
You never know.
I'm gonna be optimistic. I
No,
mean, that
it's
could be
true,
a thing.
it's true.
That could be a thing.
You never
Here
know.
for
You
it.
never know. So Monday, June
Just like the
3rd
fourth.
at 5:30,
No,
raise
she
your hand.
said, yeah, Monday, no.
If we're voting for Tuesday too, I'm raising for both, and then I guess majority might.
Yes.
We're just gonna go for both, if we can do both. I don't
We
know.
do Monday or Tuesday. She took Monday, so now Tuesday, right?
Wait, I gotta write it down. So Monday at 5:30. Monday, June 3rd at 5:30. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people. No, that's not five
You know
people.
what, yeah, let me go for Monday.
Okay, 6 people. All right, Tuesday, June 4th at 5:30. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people. Okay, so Monday, June 3rd at 5:30 it is. Ms. Lewis, will you please update the calendar? Can you move this from June 12th to June 3rd?
I'll be there.
And
You said the 3rd at 5.
yes, the 3rd at 5:30.
Did everybody get it? I don't know, I just wrote it over. Are we gonna move our PPLC meeting to that day too? Or are we done?
We are not done. Can we do it, we have, CCT and BHT that Wednesday before. Do you wanna do it, y'all wanna do it Thursday the 30th?
No.
Wait, what's Thursday the 30th?
Oh,
It's
you
an
have
intern.
concerts
It's
Thursday.
just
Oh,
for
sorry,
them,
sorry.
You wanna do it
the
Tuesday? Tuesday 7?
staff.
Okay.
Oh, that is the after the Labor Day. Okay, hold on.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah, I can only do it the week before. I can only do it Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday because Thursday I'll be following 7th graders through DC and New York.
Cool. We'll move on to public comment.
There's none. But I would like to say, because it wasn't mentioned earlier, we have a concert this week on Friday. It is our parent appreciation concert. I just said it wasn't mentioned, That's all I said, it was a mention. We have a concert, it's our kindergarten through second grade, parent appreciation concert
It's
on
on
Friday.
page 2. It's little-
And we also have two concerts, actually 3 concerts coming up at the end of the month. Our Eagle Arts Gala is on May 29th. It's a Wednesday, and it will be after school, starting at 5:30. There'll be light refreshments. It'll include our gallery walk from all of our students' work from across the year, as well as a concert at 6:30 featuring our BCS choir, our BCS guitar club, and our BCS concert band. And then Thursday and Friday that week, May 30th and 31st, we have our spring showcase concert featuring all of our classes. And so some information about that and what classes will be going on, what days will be coming out, hopefully by the end of the week.
Mrs. Spears has a busy week that week. I wanna just publicly, thank Mr. Spears and Ms. Forrest. They're already thinking ahead to next year when they want the Arts Fest to be, a fundraiser. So they did raise enough money this year from the musical, and from a number of arts, fundraisers. So they're gonna rent some round tables, some linens. They are gonna ask people to dress up in black and white with green accents. So if you all wanna come, we're working on the ventilation for the gym because we know it gets very muggy in there. But the goal is to transform that space, so it's really nice. When we walk around in our champagne flutes of sparkling juice as we peruse, all of our future artists. So if you can come out, that's gonna be a really, really special night. And the arts, team is trying to make it, a night to remember, so hopefully you can come that evening.
Any more announcements? I just want to announce, you guys probably, the parents or staff received the email about House Bill 0303. It's before the Illinois Senate. It's about to hopefully come out of the executive committee. That's a bill that will prevent the closure of any CPS school, and will also prevent budget cuts from selective enrollment schools. It already passed out of the House. It's before the Senate. We sent the email out asking people to contact their senator. I think we're gonna send another one out with a template that you can email your senator about supporting that bill. So look for that, and please forward it to anybody who may have an interest in preserving what we have as selective enrollment schools.
You said Bill 303?
0303.
Okay.
It's normally Senate would have a separate designation, but it still has a House bill designation, 0303. So if you call your senator and tell them about that bill, they'll know what it is.
We are asking people to call or email every day. I have scheduled it on Parent Square ad nauseum, so you're probably gonna get it every single day for the next 2 weeks. So if you know anybody, please just ask them to call or send an email every day. If you have Google, I know you can schedule it. You can probably just schedule it for like the next 10 days and it'll just go out after you do that 15 minutes at your computer. So that's what I'm encouraging folks to do, when they hear from their constituents and hopefully.
And a lot of times they just take a tally. Some people, most of them won't ask for your name and address, but most of the time they're just taking a call and saying you support the bill. So every day you call, they're just marking that down. So if you can, please do so.
I move to adjourn the meeting.
Did we have any comments from our?
Yeah, there is a motion on the floor now.
It's been
There's a motion on
seconded.
the floor.
Yeah.
My name is Paul.
Wait.
I withdraw my motion.
Okay, there you go.
Motion to steer.
Yeah, sure.
My name is Paul Venerable. I have a program called Fire Athletics, which is grouping of faith-based organizations, community organizations coming together to create different type of experiences for youth. What we're working on for the summer is an athletic experience for the youth, basically dealing with 3rd through sophomores in high school, participating in a full summer track program where we give them the opportunity to operate and work with a high school track coach, so they get a different type of experience and acclimation to kind of, like a visitation, so to speak, to a high school. And then if they choose to attend that high school, to participate on that track and field and continue to grow into the sport.
And what was the name of?
Fire Athletics,
Fire Athletics, like regular fire?
FYRE.
FYRE athletics, okay.
Where y'all working out of this summer?
Do soccer.
At summer, okay, track this summer.
Right down the street, do soccer.
What are the hours?
We're working on that right now. I was just speaking with the athletic director earlier today down there at the football games and kind of closing some things out, so yes.
So whenever you have the information, feel free to just drop it by, and we'll make sure we share with our families. Thank you for coming tonight.
Any other comments from the
Any
other
other
two?
comments? None online, Mr. Smith?
I move we adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Motion been made and properly second. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor of adjourning, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, thank you all.
We ain't following-
Almost 2 hours.